It's okay to want. You shouldn't be reluctant to want, and don't reject the want. If you want it, understand where it's coming. It's coming from the essence of who you are. It's coming from your heart, the heart of hearts. It's coming from the spiritual core of your being. See, spirit wants to express itself in a greater way, and you're the instrument. Spirit works through you. Spirit doesn't do anything on its own. You got to do it. That's where the wants come from. I want. Understand that's coming from inside. It's not you want to get. It's you want to grow. As you're going after whatever it is you want, it's for growth. It's not to obtain. Everything you own at the time of your death, it's going to belong to somebody else. You never own anything anyway. You're merely a custodian. You can have it, you can use it, you can share it, but you can't own it. It's a joke. People think they own it. I own this land. You can't own it. Look, that's why the Indians that were here before we arrived, they laughed at us when we started to say we own the land. We don't own the land. The land owns us. You see, all we're doing is stripping away a lot of the nonsense and looking at the basic truth about life. Wants. It's good to want. What we want to start doing is dreaming out loud. When the Wright brothers started to talk about a plane in the air, everyone thought they were crazy. We should be at the point today where nothing's crazy. If you can think it, you can do it. There is a place. When you use your imagination, you're just going on to a higher frequency. This got nothing to do with your age. It's got nothing to do with gender. It has nothing to do with race, nationality, none of that stuff. We're all the same. We just look and sound different, but we're all the same. The wants just come to the surface. You have to ask, where did they come from? Such an interesting concept. They come from inside. And it's only through constant spaced repetition, a deep level of understanding, that you will plant that in your heart. It's wild the way it happens. It comes from spirit, you give it back to spirit, and through the reciprocal law of spirit, it gives it back to you in physical form. That's the way it works. There's nothing complicated. Don't confuse it. Don't get involved in a whole lot of complicated stuff.
Good afternoon and welcome. Welcome to Living by Design. My name is Polly Hearn. I live in Katherine in the Northern Territory, and this training is here for you. And the reason that I do this is because this material changed my life 7 years ago, or coming up 7 years ago. It was actually in February that I watched my first stuff of Bob Proctor's. Besides watching The Secret, which I'd watched a few years earlier. And then in May of 2019, I formally signed up to become one of his coaches to spread more of this material around the world so that people could live a better life. I'm not going to go that into my story today. This today is all for you. What I want us to do, first of all, let's just see if this chat works. I have got another computer here because I'm using a streaming app to get me through here, so I can't see the chat. So the chat is over here. The first thing I want us to do in the chat, though, is just to say what town you're coming from. What town, what state, what part of the world maybe. Just pop it in there and tell us where you're tuning in from. What this week is all about is for you. I am going to turn up for you. I'm going to turn up to show you that there is a better way and to share with you some of the ideas that I have used to change my life. I was a mother, I still am, a mother of three. I have three children. They're now 23, 21 and coming up 20. When I started this, I think the eldest was 7 or 8. So it has been a bit of a, or when we started our business, sorry, my eldest was 7 or 8 then. So our youngest was maybe 4 or 4, I think, something like that, Ryan was. And our life was pretty tumultuous. Everything, the happiness of the household depended on what sort of mood mum was in and what was going on in mum's life. And because I am a pretty dominant personality, sometimes you could cut the air with a knife. Now, I had kids that didn't come out of their rooms. I had a marriage that was, it looked great. You'd been together for so long, but there was no support. There was a lot of arguing. There was a lot of anger and bitterness on my side of things. Craig has always been a pretty quiet fella, so he would lose his stack at me every so often. But I came into this work because I just wanted something different. I was done with going to bed every night, hating on myself, not liking the look or the me that looked back at me in the mirror. I didn't like my discipline. I didn't have much discipline. I wouldn't, my kids would not be able to rely on me. Yes, I would be there to pick them up, but they wouldn't be in a happy state and it wouldn't be in a very nourishing state. So what I had become was the image of my own childhood, which I did not want, I did not like. And I also didn't know how to change. Now I want you all to know that change is what you have to do if you want something different in your life. There is no point coming to this training this week and saying, I'm just going to go back to the way I've always done things, because you're shooting yourself in the foot. You signed up to this for a reason. There was something in the words that I put out there that made you go, oh my goodness, I need this, or I need to have a look at this, or I need to look into it, maybe just get some more information to see if this is the right thing for me. So do the whole 6 days before you make that decision. Now I know maybe we have added extra days. I know we have. We've added a few extra nights and one extra night. So tonight we are having a goal setting Zoom. I'm just letting you know that too at this moment. So that's at 7:30 Northern Territory time. So that's Australian Central Standard Time. We're adding that because as I go into today a little bit more for you, you'll understand why it's important that we have a goal setting Zoom. Now, these Zooms are not going to be recorded and they're not going to be sent out. So you need to be there. Clear your schedule. Clear your schedule for the rest of this week with anything that you've got going on that you can, because this is really, really important for you. Now, when I had to do this, mine started at 11 o'clock at night and it went till 7 o'clock in the morning. So I was pulling all-nighters when I first learned about this information. And then when I signed up to be a coach with Bob Proctor and a consultant for his company, I had to get up at 1:30 or 2:30 in the morning to be on calls with him to learn this information so that I could teach it the best that I could. I'm not asking you to get out of bed at stupid o'clock. However, I'm asking you to turn up for you, because nobody else will. Nobody else really has what you want at the forefront of their mind. Nobody is going to put aside their lives for you, really, when you think about it. Us as parents, we do this for our children, and I think it's about time now that we take our lives back and we take back control and we start to design it the way we want to live, not by default. We have been sold on different ideas that are not true. So it could be that money's really hard to make, or you just grin and bear it. Just take what's given to you and just be happy with it. There are so many little one-liners or beliefs or things that we have all been sold on which are not serving us. And I'm here today to help you debunk a few of those and maybe have a different look at your life and be clearer on where you want to go. We have this beautiful thing called an imagination, but we got sold on the idea that imagination is for little kids. It is not just for little kids. we should be teaching little kids how to use it properly, how to use it to transform themselves so that they can live the lives that they want to live. So that's my first question. How do you want to live? What do you want? Not what are you resigned to having, or what maybe somebody around you wants for you, or maybe like you've been sold an idea. You know, I had a talk to 5 little kids one day, and I bought them all an ice cream, and I said, what do you want to be when you grow up? One of them said, Dad said I need to be a lawyer because lawyers make lots of money and I'm going to need a lot of money. And I thought, that's going to be with that child, who knows for how long. How many people do you see that are in jobs that they hate, that they despise, but they're there because they believe that that's what they have to do, that they're there to keep family members happy, other people in their lives happy? This is your life. You get one shot at it in this body that we know of. Let's give it all we've got. Let's really pull something out of the bag today and start to live the life that maybe you fantasized about when you were a little kid. So, the start of today, like today is the start of this whole training for this 5-day challenge, which is now actually a 6-day challenge, because I realized that we have to add the 6th day. So I just want to go through the schedule this week. We're on here now for an hour. At 7:30 tonight, we're in Zoom. Now, everything you need is in the portal. Okay, you have been given a portal. We put the link in the WhatsApp chat. If you are not in the WhatsApp chat, get in there, because this is where we're helping you and reminding you where everything may be. So get in there and we will help you out in there. The chat is not for calling people. It's not for trying to sell your own things or anything. The chat is there for us to get you into these lives and into the Zooms and help you with as much support as we can. That's what the chat is for. So we are not going to bombard it with all these different things. It is just to help you get onto these calls. So I would really appreciate it if everybody else could follow that lead as well. Only ask questions in there where if you're asking for times or technical stuff. I'm going to be setting homework. You can learn knowledge, but if you don't apply it to your life, nothing will change. So I'm going to ask you to take action this week. But we're not going to take action in the WhatsApp chat. We are going to take action in our Facebook group, which is called Life by Design. The link to that is also in your portal. Everything you need is in the portal. So go to the portal, ask to come into the Facebook group. You do not have to jump through hoops or anything else. We ask like 3 questions before you come in there. That is it. Come in there so that then you can see what other people post, because it may give you some ideas for yourself. You are not doing this alone. We are all here to help you. I have a team, there's 6 or 7 of us in the chat and also in the Facebook group, able to help you and help you get the most that you can from this week. We are not here to play games. We're not here just to give you a little bit. We are going to give you everything we've got. We're not going to hold little bits of pieces of information back and say, oh no, you've got to pay for the rest. That is not what we're going to do. We're going to give you everything. Now, people think that this word manifesting is a woo-woo word or it's out there. All it means is that you've taken an idea from your imagination and you've made it a physical reality. That is what manifesting is. We do it all the time. See these things, telephones? Somebody did it with that, hey? They imagined, my God, wouldn't it be great if we could have a phone that you could do your banking on, that you could send pictures on, you could take videos, people wouldn't need cameras anymore, that you could have all this in one place. Can you imagine that person? What was it? We're on iPhone 17 at the moment, so maybe 20 years ago, somebody saying, okay, I'm going to create this thing called a phone, and it's going to be able to fit in your back pocket, and you're going to be able to do all of these things on it. 20 years ago, we would have said, are you crazy? How the hell do you think that would happen? And now it's like second nature. If you don't have one of these, we're like, what's wrong with you? Understand, people are doing this all the time. You have been doing it all the time. I know if you thought about my life back 10 years ago, I was doing it the wrong way. I was thinking about all the things that I didn't want and wondering why they were all turning up. I was thinking about the mother I didn't want to be. I was thinking about the marriage that I didn't want to have. I was thinking about the business life that I didn't want to have, the money troubles that I didn't want to have. And guess what? That's what I got, because that's what I thought about. Now we're here to teach you how to think this week so that you can think into the results and design the life that you want. So Monday, today, we're here for an hour. Then tonight at 7:30, we're back into Zoom to help you write your goal. Then tomorrow, we're in YouTube again, back into this same, you'll get a new link for tomorrow. So we'll be in the new link for an hour or so. It could be a little bit longer tomorrow because I've got a lot to cover for you tomorrow so that you can understand how your mind works. Then day 3, we're really going to start to talk about fear and what that actually means and what it does to our body and what we do when we live in that state for too long. Then we're going to come in and talk about faith on day 4, on Thursday. Then on Friday, so all of those days are in YouTube. On Friday, we're back into a Zoom at 12 o'clock where you're going to talk to, hear from some of my clients, maybe some of my team, and I'm going to take you through even more of how to get what you want and keep it happening. Then on Saturday, we're back in YouTube at 9 a.m. Northern Territory time, Australian Central Standard Time, and we're going to be talking about self-image. You hold an image of you inside, and then you also project one to the world. It doesn't mean that they're in harmony. It doesn't mean that you're going to get what you want. It means that you need to understand how these work and how to create a new one that makes the old one obsolete so that you become the person that you were destined to become when you were a little kid and you dreamed about your future. You dreamed about the life that you wanted to live until somebody told you to quit daydreaming. Stop that. Asking you how you're going to do it. It's one of the biggest stoppers of most people is, how are you going to do that? Well, guess what? The people that wanted to make these phones, they didn't know how to do it. Guess when they realized how to do it? Once they'd done it. That's it. When they had done it, they realized how they could do it. The rest of the time, what were they doing? Testing. Trying this, didn't work. Try this, didn't work. Try this. Oh, a bit of that worked. Keep a bit of that, change it a little bit. And they kept going and going and going until they got it done. And now what do they do every year? Perfect it, get it better, add more to it. Now you also have a workbook. I need more print in my printer, obviously, look at that. But there's a workbook that goes with this week, so print it out. If you haven't got printing abilities, go and ring a friend and ask somebody that does and get them to help you. Just listening will be great. You'll feel great after these sessions. But if you don't do anything with it, nothing in your life will change. Trust me, I understand this because, I have got bookcases full of books in here, and I had a lot of them before I started. I read them, but nobody laid it out and said, okay, now that you've read that book or now that you've got an understanding, this is the process of how you do it. This is how you take an idea from your imagination and you turn it into your reality. Nobody told me that. I was left to figure it out. And after a little while, because if you don't have a proven success strategy taught to you, You think this is just pointless and hopeless. I just don't know what I'm doing. I might as well just give up. It's like I'm a chef, right? Years ago. And so you think about if you haven't got a recipe book and you're trying to make like something technical like a souffle and you don't have a recipe to follow, pretty soon you're going to give up. Go like, I just give up. Let somebody else do it. Because there's a precise ingredients list and then a method. Understanding that. There's also a few different places that I want you, like there's 4 levels to this. Most people as they start out, like, and it could be you before you found some of this information, it could, like, I don't know where you start, you can figure it out, but most people start as unconscious incompetent. And that means that they don't know what they don't know, and they just go blindly through life. There was a saying that most people tiptoe through life hoping to make it safely to death. They don't know that there's any other way to do it, so they just keep doing the same thing day in, day out, hoping that they make it safely to death. Well, that's the one thing that we can be sure of in this life, that there will be a day that it ends. What you do in the middle is all up to you. So we move from unconscious incompetence to conscious incompetence. So you hear about this stuff and you hear about using certain laws. You hear about living in harmony with the laws. You understand that how your body works and how your mind works and how the faculties that you've got work, but you don't do anything with it. That's conscious incompetence. Then you start to use this formula. You start to use the method that we're going to teach you this week, and you start doing it consciously, because it won't be habitual. It won't be a natural feeling for you. It's going to feel pretty uncomfortable. We're going to ask you to do certain things and take action, and you're going to maybe feel scared and have certain moments where you're just like, I don't even know what I'm doing here, and I don't know if this is going to work, but Polly and her team have said that we're going to do this and we're just going to keep doing it. So, and you're going to have to be conscious, because like I said, you're not going to have habits for it. But so then you're going to become consciously competent. Things are going to start to change. You're going to be able to see that change is possible and that change is for you and that it is easy. And then after you've been doing these processes that we're going to teach you for a while, do this method over and over again, at some point it's going to become habitual and it's going to be unconscious, and you will be unconsciously competent at it. You will be back in the driver's seat of your life, deciding what comes in. Now, there will probably be a few moments along the way where you're like, oh, geez, I did that the other day. We were driving home and I was looking for a crack in the windscreen because a rock had flown up and there was no crack. But then I created one because I was looking for it. So another truck came past and there I could see the crack. Well, there it is. Now, we do these things sometimes without even understanding what we're doing. So this week we're going to bring you more consciously in charge of what you're thinking about, questioning some of the beliefs that you have, some of the ideas that you are letting run your life. Are they even true? Do you even want that to be happening? So this is all for you. And if you have any words or anything that I say that really sticks to you, put it in the chat, put it in the comments of this YouTube, so that you will remember it. If you, like, things are fleeting, ideas are fleeting, thoughts are fleeting. You have like 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day. 90% of them are the same ones that you've had maybe for the last 5 years. So if you don't start to bring in different thinking and different thoughts, the chances of your life changing are pretty slim. So the first thing I want to ask you is, are you willing to put yourself out there this week, to put yourself first, and to not let logic come in and talk you out of some of the things that we're gonna they're not going to be hard to do, guys, either. It's not like we're going to ask you to go and do ring around the rosy or anything and take videos and be silly or anything. These are common sense sort of things that we're going to ask you to do. But are you ready to put you first? If you're ready, I want you to put ready in the comments. Like, yes, I'm ready. You probably haven't put yourself first in I don't know how long. Not in the way that we're going to ask you to. And you may touch on fear. We're going to help you step through that. But I want you to know that we are here to support you every step of the way. My team and I are here. We don't judge. We are here with love and help and support to get you the results that you want. We may pull you up on some of the words that you type into things or when you take action. Be okay with that. We are here to help. We're not criticizing you and telling you you've done it wrong and that you should give up. We're here to say, hey, if you write it that way, this is what the picture gets you. So pictures are very, very important. So I want to talk about that a bit. We think in pictures. If you think about any words really in your life, they all string together, or words by themselves create images in your mind. If you think about the rest of your life, what is the image that you get if nothing changes now? And there's one really easy way to look at that. Just look at the last 5 years of your life. If nothing changes, you're going to expect them for the next 5 years. Now, when I was told that, I was like, oh my God, I have to change. And I cannot expect my kids to change. I cannot expect my husband to change. I cannot expect anything else to change. It has to be me. Because I want it. What do you want? What is the picture that you want for your life? If you could have anything. Now, I'm not here to say, oh yeah, you can make $1 million in a week's time. That is not what I'm here to do. And anybody that tries to sell you that idea is probably maybe telling you little fibs. Because change is scary. Change takes a lot of effort. And what I've noticed that most people want is time and financial freedom. It's not about making $10 million, or it could be, I don't know for you, but most people want time and financial freedom. They want the time to do what they want, when they want, with the amount of money that they need to do it. And they want their time to be free of worry of where the money is going to come from and how life, blah, 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 all the stories. Most people want time and financial freedom. So time freedom and financial freedom. That's it. And I'll let you in on another secret. When I heard this, when Bob said you should be working for satisfaction, not for money. Money is the byproduct of you doing something that satisfies you, so that you go and do something that gives you satisfaction for the day and you come home and you feel joy. You know, when I was sitting there, somebody said, Polly, you've got your speaker on. I'm like, yeah, I know, so you know I'm here. And I'm watching the clock count down. How many people have a job where they sit there all day just watching the clock count down? I had one of those once. It was the most boringest job I ever had. So, the most important thing that you're going to need to get through this week and to change your life, first is the acceptance that you have to change. And you have to change from the inside out. You have to change ideas about you. You have to change ideas about life. And then the second thing is you need to know where you're going. Where do you want to go? Now, we have a little process that we go through. When I work with people, I say to them, okay, what don't you like in your life anymore? What are you really sick and tired of? What are you done with? What is no longer acceptable for you in your life? Like, I'm 50 on Wednesday. There are things that I looked at on the weekend and I thought, okay, this is not acceptable in my life moving forward. This is not acceptable in my life moving forward. And then from that, because you know what you don't want, you get a clear picture of what you do want, you instantly flip it over and go, okay, so what do I want instead of? Because we don't want to spend too much time thinking about what we don't want. But it's when we know what we won't put up with anymore, what we don't want anymore, that helps us get really clear on what we do want. So I had one of my team members, she said, okay, this partying and drinking game has got to stop. So she knew what was leaving. And then you instantly flip over and go, okay, now what is going to take its place? Because this is the truth here. Eh? You cannot just go and give something up. Nature abhors a vacuum. As soon as you make a space, it will be filled. And it will be filled with the same energetic frequency as what gets taken out. So you think about it, if most people, when they give up smoking, they maybe take up some other negative action. I know Bob Proctor, when he gave up drinking, he walked straight over the road and started gambling at the casinos. So if you are not conscious of what you're going to put in its place, the chances are another negative idea or another negative action or activity will take its place. So you have to be very clear. So let me tell you a little bit about goals. We have the A, B's and C's of goals. An A goal is something you already know how to do. Chances are you've already done it before. And I'll tell you a little story about how you can differentiate the three of them in a moment. B-type goals. B-type goals are something you think you can do. So Bob tells a story in lesson 1, and he says, okay, I had a guy come to me and he says, Bob, I've got a goal and I want to get a new Pontiac. This is back in a few years back, eh? And he said, okay, what sort of Pontiac? And he's like, this one, blah, 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 blah. Okay, rightio. What are you driving now? And he says, a Pontiac. And he said, okay, and how long have you had that Pontiac? He said, 4 years. How old is the Pontiac? 4 years old. He says, so what you're telling me is you want a car, you want a new Pontiac, but you've known for 4 years how to get one because you've done it before. You did it 4 years ago. You already know how to do that. Remember the video at the beginning. It says goals are here. They're designed for you to grow. If you've already done it, it is not the goal that we're looking for. So that's an A-type goal. You already know how to do it. A B-type goal could be like getting a university degree or something, or going and doing some training so that you get a certificate or a diploma. You know that if you follow this schedule and you get marks at this, you can do it. You've got a plan. As long as you follow the plan, you'll be fine. What we want are C-type goals. C-type goals are fantasy. You have no idea how to get there. You originate them. You take all these little ideas out of who knows where, your imagination, you go and you build the picture. This is what I want for my life. My very first goal was I am so happy and grateful now that I'm a calm and responsive mother, wife, and business owner. I was a mum, like I told you, that people walked around eggshells on. Nobody knew what mum was going to do when she walked through the front door. They didn't know what mood she was going to be in. They didn't know. Like sometimes she could flip her switch just sitting at the dining room table when kids weren't eating their dinner. She would just lose it. She didn't want to, but she didn't know how to change. She didn't know what to do. What do you want? How do you want to spend your days? How do you want to go to bed at night? How do you want to feel about yourself when you go to bed? How do you want to feel about yourself when you look in the mirror? Bob used to have a thing, he'd say, you should wake up in the morning and kiss yourself. Mwah! I love myself. Can you get there? Do you want to get there? You need to be in love with yourself. And this is how we're going to do it. The only way that we're going to want to change is that we want to love ourselves more. We want to love our lives more. But ask yourself, what do you truly want? Excuse me. Oh, these people ready to change. Great stuff. So you might have to sit there for a little bit. Get a pen, get some paper, and just ask yourself, what do I want? Why is that important to me? What do I want? How do I want to live? And it has to be bigger than you've ever gone after, anything you've ever gone after before. Because then you're going to actually have to think. Because remember, if you already know how to do it, it's not going to ask you to change anything. And you're going to have to change to have the life that you want. And I'm just so grateful that there's so many of you ready to change, because change is the only way to get there. But when we're doing it with a whole group of us going after it, a whole group of us deciding, okay, I'm not going to live my life like this anymore. I want more for me. I want more for my family. I want more for my life. Now, you can have anything you want. Pretty much, anyway. Like I think I said once, you're not going to grow wings and be like the Red Bull ad or anything like that, but you can have pretty much anything that you want. What most people lack, though, is discipline. They lack discipline and they lack persistence. So I want you to think about it, and I want you to just I want you to think about writing a shopping list today. A list of all the things that you can think of that you would like to do. It could be that maybe you want to start a garden, or maybe you want to go skydiving, or go in a hot air balloon, or just go on a holiday by yourself for a week, or go and stay somewhere really nice by yourself for a bit. Maybe it is just having some time to yourself. Who knows? What do you want, though? What is going to bring you joy in your life? Now, your goal is going to demand persistence. Now, like I said, I was somebody that was not very disciplined. I don't know how many times I've had gym memberships that I have never shown up for. I have had, I signed up to be an interior designer at one stage. I think I did the first month or the second month or something, and then threw that in the bin. I was going to be a health coach at one stage. I never finished that either. Until later on I did a different one which was more in alignment with who I was. But I was a start, stop person, because I didn't have anybody teaching me the real proper process on how to go after and set goals. So there's a few necessary steps. Now, if you haven't read this book, I suggest you go and get it, Think and Grow Rich from Napoleon Hill. This book was like, it's like a Bible for personal development. It was written back in, I think it was produced back in the 1937. It was first published. And there was lots of edits because the publishing company said, no, you can't have those words in there. You can't have this words in there. Like the energy side of things was not such a big thing back then. I've actually gone back to the classic text. Not that it has all of the good stuff like that back in it, but it does have a lot of it back in it. So I want you to think about persistence. Do you have persistence? Now, I want you to write that in the chat too, hey? Like, if you lack persistence, you need to understand why. It's probably because your goal is not backed by a burning desire. So your goal needs to be a what? So it needs to be something that you can feel, something you can see, or something you can have. But it also has to have a why behind it. Why do you want that? And do you want it more than your life that you've got going on right now? Is it going to get you out of bed and like motivate you to change, inspire you to change? The part that helped me was knowing that I could be the person I wanted to be. I could be her. And it wasn't so much how, it was just a matter of when. When would I be her? And the faster I changed, the faster I would be her. How to develop persistence. There are 4 simple steps which lead to the habit of persistence. They call for no great amount of intelligence, no particular amount of education, and but little time or effort. Now, when I read that, I thought, okay, this is cool because I didn't have that much time. Now, the necessary steps are a definite purpose backed by a burning desire for its fulfillment. Now, I wanted my kids to be my friends. Now, I was told for years, your kids are not your friends, your kids, you're the parent and you need to discipline them, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And I learnt discipline from some people that learn it from nuns in boarding houses. So it was smack first and ask questions later, or don't even ask questions. You get told how to feel, what to do, and blah, 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 blah. No arguments. Do not argue with me, which was what I was taught by the people before me. So you can imagine how I started off life as a mother. Was it fun? No. When my kids used to, sorry, I didn't think I was going to get emotional here. When my kids used to wake up because they had a bad dream and they'd call for Craig, where was Mum? Mum could be on the couch because maybe she'd had too much wine and that's where they left her. Mum could get up and be angry that they woke her up from her sleep. So they called for Craig. That's my husband. He would get up and sometimes he'd give them ice cream in the middle of the night just to take away the memories of it and stuff. So I was so grateful that I had him. But how do you think I felt? I was their mum. And I wanted something completely different to that. So my burning desire was huge. You need to have that. This is why it has to be what you want. Don't try and please other people with your goal. A definite plan expressed in continuous action. Now, my plan was I was going to come home happy every day from work, and I was going to come home and I was going to ask questions with my kids and of the people that worked around me and stuff, and understand the pictures in their head. That was my whole thing. Because when I can understand the picture, then I can understand why they're doing the things that they're doing instead of yelling and screaming and telling them. Now, there's a little thing that I want you to think about here. There's a thing called a do-over. I had to practice do-overs a hell of a lot. Because I would walk in the front door. Now, you think some of my kids were probably 12, 10 and 9 by this stage, or 8. I came in one day and the whole house was tied up with string because they'd made laser beams and they were trying to get their way through it. Now, I walked in that door and I couldn't hardly open the door because it was all tied up, and I lost my shit. And then I thought, oh, Polly, this is not our plan. I had to shut that door, walk back out, take a few deep breaths and come back in, go again, have a do-over, and turn up like the mum I wanted to show up as. So I'd turn up, work in there, or I had to crawl through bloody string and stuff. Like, okay, kids, this looks like so much fun, but I think this is an outside game, please. So that when I get home from work, I can get straight onto cooking dinner and everything will be okay. So that's how I wanted to keep turning up. So I had to do many of these do-overs. I had to have do-overs with my husband. I had to have do-overs with workers. I had to have do-overs with clients on phone calls and stuff. Like, always thinking of, how can I do this better? How could I have done that better? And going back and changing it. Number 3, this one is really, really important. A mind closed tightly against all negative and discouraging influences, including negative suggestions of relatives, friends, and acquaintances. Now, your friends and close family, your close family and friends, close friends and family, have a direct line to your subconscious mind. They can implant ideas in there just like that. Do not tell them your goals. Now, you're not being deceitful. You're guarding your dreams until you have your whole being knowing an absolute faith that you can have it. Because other people will railroad you at the first sign of any challenges, any obstacles, and sometimes even before there is an obstacle. Now, my second goal, when I told my husband after I'd sort of, I think it took me about 3 or 6 months to really get in as this new mum. And, my kids would look at me sometimes and go, how can she be so nice to me when I'm saying I hate her? Like, that's what we do, as kids. We tell our parents we hate them when they're trying to discipline us or something. Like, my kids had packed their bags and moved out so many times. I just started turning up calmer and just asking them, how can I help, when they're going and losing their stuff. And they're like, how can you be so nice to us? It's because I decided I'm going to be. I don't want what we've been doing for these last 10 years to keep going. So don't tell those close to you. I told my husband my second goal. Now, I want you to understand this. He's a beautiful man, and he didn't understand either. You've got to think, most people, when you tell them their goal, their mind goes, what does this mean for me? That's all they're worried about. It's not about you. So don't take it as a hit against you. They're thinking, okay, what does this mean for me? So when I told my husband my new next goal, all he could think about was, I'm going to have to keep doing the shopping, keep doing the cooking, keep doing this, keep doing that, because this lady's going to be very busy. That's all he cared about. Now, it wasn't that he was being nasty or anything, but the picture in his head was that he had to keep up doing what he was already doing, which he probably didn't want to do that much in the first place anyway. But this is what's going to happen around you. If you tell anybody, and if your goal is illogical, like we're asking you to make it be, and the fantasy, me as a calm and responsive mum was so far removed from the person I was. And you know what used to happen? Because I'd told everybody what my goal was, And as soon as I lost my shit sometimes, it'd be, oh, this is really working, Mum. This is really working, Polly. You're no calmer than blah, 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 blah. So keep it to yourself, because you're going to need as much help and support as you can. Now, if you have, now this is number 4, okay? This is the 4 steps to persistence. A friendly alliance with one or more persons who will encourage you to follow through with both plan and purpose. That is what we are. We are that for you. We are here to encourage you to follow through on your plan and on your purpose, and encourage you to keep going even when it feels like nothing is working. Other people in your life are not going to be wanting to help you. They are thinking about what's in it for them. It is not nasty. It is not narcissistic or anything else like that. Just come from the place that like you would be doing the same. If somebody came to you and said, my goal is this, like you think about if it was a child that says, Mum, my goal is I'm going to be a world famous soccer player, your first thought is going to be, okay, they're going to want to get into a soccer team. I'm going to have to drop them here. It's going to cost money and blah, blah, blah. It's about you. So be very careful who you tell it to. Now, these 4 steps are essential for success in all walks of life. The entire purpose of the 13 principles in this philosophy, so this book, is to enable one to take these 4 steps as a matter of habit. These are the steps by which one may control one's economic destiny. They are the steps that lead to freedom and independence of thought. They are the steps that lead to riches in small or great quantities. They lead the way to power, fame, and worldly recognition. So think about that. A definite purpose, backed by a burning desire for its fulfillment. You want this more than anything, and you are happy to fail your way there. Because you will fail. Trust me. I fail all the time. We fail our way to success. Fail. Get up, go again. Fail. Get up, go again. Thomas Edison, 10,000 times before he got the light bulb. Don't ever give up. Never give up on yourself. There's too many people already doing it for you. Now, in your workbook, we've given you a paper copy of these. These are called goal cards. Now, this week, I'm going to be asking you to take action. I give prizes. My team and I will select 5 people every day that we will send out prizes to. These will be in it. I always send out goal cards. You want to carry one of these around with you once you've got your goal, once we've helped you. You can cut out the one that's in your workbook. You can print off that page 50,000 times. Have them wrapped around everything to remind you of what you're going after, because you will forget. Because life is very busy. And we haven't been conditioned just yet to remember what your goal is, because it's not something in your subconscious mind just yet. Now, there's another book that I want you to think about. And if you haven't bought this book, go out and get it. It's called Psycho-Cybernetics. Maxwell Maltz was a plastic surgeon, and he used to work on people that maybe had an accident or have something on their face or their body that was causing them some grief, and he would take away the ailment or whatever. And he noticed that in some people, it changed the way they had success in life. With others, not so much. But he wrote this book about a cybernetic mechanism that is inside us. And I want to read you a bit on, we have a built-in guidance system. And not many of us have actually been taught about this. So I want to read you this. The success instinct. A squirrel does not have to be taught how to gather nuts, nor does it need to learn that it should store them for winter. A squirrel, born in the spring, has never experienced winter. Yet in the fall of that year, it can be observed busily storing nuts to be eaten during the winter months when there will be no food to be gathered. A bird does not need to take lessons in nest building. nor does it need to take courses in navigation. Yet birds do navigate thousands of miles, sometimes over open sea. They have no newspaper or TV either to give them the weather reports, no books written by explorer or pioneer birds to map out for them the warm areas of the earth. Nonetheless, the bird knows when cold weather is imminent and the exact location of a warm climate, even though it may be thousands of miles away. In attempting to explain such things, we usually say that animals have certain instincts that guide them. Analyze all such instincts and you will find they assist the animal to successfully cope with its environment. In short, animals have a success instinct. We have often overlooked the fact that man too has a success instinct, much more marvelous and much more complex than that of any animal. Our Creator did not shortchange man. On the other hand, man was especially blessed in this regard. Animals cannot select their goals. Their goals, self-preservation and procreation, are preset, so to speak. And their success mechanism is limited to these built-in goal images, which we call instincts. Man, on the other hand, has something animals don't: creative imagination. Thus, man, of all the creatures, is more than a creature, he is also a creator. With his imagination, he can formulate a variety of goals. Man alone can direct his success mechanism by the use of imagination or imaging ability. We often think of creative imagination as applying only to poets and inventors and the like. But imagination is creative in everything we do. Although they did not understand why or how, imagination sets our creative mechanism into action. Serious thinkers of all ages, as well as hard-headed practical men, have recognized the fact and made use of it. Imagination rules the world, said Napoleon Bonaparte. And Glenn Clark, author of The Man Who Tapped the Secrets of the Universe, said, imagination of all man's faculties is the most godlike. The faculty of imagination is the great spring of human activity and the principal source of human improvement. Destroy this faculty and the condition of man will become as stationary as that of the brutes. You can imagine your future. Now, people in sports know this. They know that if you practice in your imagination making the shot, like say you're a basketball and you just imagine yourself shooting that hoop over and over again, you will become within 1% of the person that actually does it in the physical form. 1%. This is how extraordinary your imagination is. But you've got to use it. What do you want? How do you want to live? What do you want to be, do, or have? What do you want? Really get clear on it. Think about it. Make it big. Don't stick to the old, oh yeah, I know I can do this and I know I can do that and I think I can do this one. No. Go for the C-type. It has to be a fantasy. And you're going to have to commit to it. The life I live today is so far removed to the life that I had 10 years ago, to the person I was 10 years ago. Now, I've only been doing this stuff for 7. So even 7 years ago, even 5 years ago, it's a vast difference. Even to last year. Because the more you use your imagination, the more you open yourself up to thinking more and more and more. The way that you've been doing life up until now, I have to say you need to give yourself a pat on the back because you've got to here. but it's going to take a new set of rules to get what you truly want. And that's what we're all here to help you with. You have within you a goal seeking, like a missile, just waiting for you to set a goal. And there's a mechanism that is just going to like get into gear and say, okay, this is what we're going after. And it is going to start looking straight away for evidence and ideas and plots and plans. You are not going to have the ideas how to get there. You're not going to have the first clue probably how to get there. But we have a little saying in our group too, if you've been in Life by Design for a little bit. It's hashtag FTH. Forget the how. We sometimes use the other word for forget, but for YouTube, we'll be using forget. So forget the how. And if your mind is asking you questions like, how the hell are you going to do that? Then know that you're on the right path, because it means that you don't know how. You will not know how until you've done it. We're going to fail our way to success. Because with each failure, it gets you closer to success because you've figured out another way that it won't work. And we're here to help you. So, thank you again for being here. I'm going to play Bob's video again for you. No, actually, I'll wait for tonight and we'll play it again when we come on to the Zoom. Sit with this. Just keep asking yourself. And as soon as your mind goes to settle on something, ask yourself, why is that important to me? Is that why for that goal bigger than the why I've got going on in my life at the moment? Am I really willing to change for that? Does it demand that I change? If it doesn't, you need to go bigger. All right. For those of you that will be with us on Zoom tonight, I will see you at 7:30. Thank you so much for being here. And remember, tomorrow I'm going to help you understand your mind. There's a conscious mind and a subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind does not know the difference between what's real and imagined. This is why imagination is so key here. But it takes whatever picture you get emotionally involved in, and it will turn out results. So we've got to be very careful with the pictures that we internalize. And that's what tomorrow is all about. So we'll be back here again tomorrow in YouTube at 12 o'clock. Tonight, 7:30 in Zoom. The link is in your portal. Everything you need is in your portal. All right. I love you all. Thank you so much for being here. Bye-bye. See ya.